Podcasts are hot right now. How do I know? Well, you're listening to one right now, aren't you? But you might be wondering, how on earth do I get my voice out there and start my own podcast? It all seems so intimidating. Between hosting and platforms and monetization, it can get real complicated real quick. Well, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We started this podcast over 2 years ago, not knowing clue one on how to do it. So how do we do it? We did it with Anchor. Anchor is the free podcast app with creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on all the platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. And everybody likes money, right? Well, you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So go right now, download the free Anchor app, or go to Anchor FM to get started. It's the E-Commerce Minute, your daily dose of e-commerce, tech, and retail news with your hosts, Bart Miraz and John Suter. The E-Commerce Minute is a production of Sumo Heavy, a digital commerce consulting firm in Brooklyn, New York, and Philadelphia. Find us on the web at sumoheavy.com. It's E-Commerce Minute episode 620.
In today's episode, Walmart rethinks e-commerce and its battle against Amazon.
Amazon and Walmart have long been battling for dominance in customer experience aspects like fulfillment and delivery times. They've also been coming for each other's gigs over the past year, with Amazon expanding into grocery and pharma, and Walmart investing more into their private label threads. The competition is hot, but Walmart might just have a little secret weapon to help it one-up the competition. The competition is hot, but Walmart might just have a little secret weapon to help it one-up the competition. Walmart CEO Doug McMillion revealed at a recent strategy meeting that Walmart supercenters will be a key centerpiece of Walmart's retail strategy going forward. McMillian said that Walmart wasn't going to win by building an unprofitable e-commerce operation or other standalone ventures. Instead, its supercenters could be the heart of a web of businesses all working together to attract shoppers and drive profits, especially with some advancements. One of those advancements is getting into the cell phone tower business by allowing wireless telecom service providers to install 5G antennas on its stores' roofs. Walmart's geographic diversity also makes its stores well-suited to provide cloud computing solutions, which solves a problem that Amazon and other cloud companies constantly face: the lag time of sending and receiving digital information over great distances. As much as Amazon desperately wants to dominate the grocery business, as evidenced by Amazon Go and Amazon's rumored new grocery concept, Amazon has actually made very few advancements onto Walmart's most sacred turf thus far. So Walmart still has some time to spare to hone in on this advantage. Even in the future, shoppers that still choose a physical shopping experience, and especially an experience augmented by Walmart's latest BOPIS, buy online, pick up in store, and drive-up capabilities, Walmart's value proposition is still pretty compelling. This is a far cry from 2016, when the company tried to aggressively invade Amazon's e-commerce turf. It purchased Jet.com, an unprofitable startup created to underprice Amazon on millions of items. Jet's founder, Mark Lurie, and much of his staff took over Walmart's overall e-commerce operations. Within the acquisition, Lurie pushed Walmart to better integrate its store and online activities for shoppers. The team also scooped up smaller e-commerce sites, including women's apparel company ModCloth, outdoor retailer Moose Jaw, and men's apparel brand Bonobos. But these weren't terribly fruitful, since online sales grew, but losses mounted due to the high costs. These acquisitions began to implode. Hayneedle, the online furniture seller that Jet.com acquired, cut a third of its staff. Bonobos laid off workers. What remained of Jet's headquarters staff was folded into the rest of Walmart, and ModCloth was sold. So it looks as if leveraging their massive grocery store operations may be Walmart's secret weapon against the dominance of Amazon, plus those giant-ass stores.
Some big stores, huh?
Big-ass stores.
So big.
Well, that could actually work against them unless they repurpose some of that space, because what in my travels across the internet, what sounds like a lot of these stores have too big of a footprint, and we've seen it in the case of Kohl's and Staples and things like that, where they're going, what do we do with this extra space? We'll put a co-working space. We'll put Amazon Returns. We'll do other stuff. And what I'm saying is Walmart may do the same, but instead of saying, okay, we're going to just give half of the store off to, some other retail, they'll use it as part of their logistics, which totally makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, by my parents' house, remember they took that one Walmart out, and because there's that big ginormous war in Levittown, it's a huge place.
It's going to be a flea market.
What?
Yeah, they're making it a flea market.
Oh, jeez. Nothing survives in that place.
No.
Walmart survived for a while.
That's the shopping center where things go to die.
Pretty much. But there's that one, that big one and things like that. They do all the people try to do all their shopping there, and it's like it's just so big.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think overall big ginormous stores like that are just gonna go away?
Okay, well, I have a couple thoughts. I don't, as convenient as it is, yes, it's really nice sometimes to walk into a Walmart and buy a shirt and my avocados and my stuff to clean the toilets. Yes, that's pretty awesome. But what I don't like is at what cost? At what cost is to the smaller retailers. I'm more of the rah, let's go small business. So I feel like, yep, save a couple bucks, save a couple steps, I don't feel great about it. Will it go away? That's a really good question. I think there's going to be some aspects that you won't see in a superstore anymore. I don't know, like certain kind of things that just makes more sense to order online. I don't know what that thing is, but I'm just kind of spitballing here. But I think it's going to evolve. But what you're seeing is such a dominance with Walmart grocery is I think as they open up newer stores, and there's some stories coming down the line, which we will report on, Walmart is doing a complete revamp of not only their design, but also of the product categories, because what they're realizing is they are losing that mid-tier customer, which we've always said, and they thought that they were going to make up that mid-tier customer through their e-commerce acquisitions, which didn't work. Right. They're retrenching now and going, well, how do we get the mid-tier customer? What do they like? What products do they like? So they're actually going through all their vendors and saying, okay, which one of these crap brands can we jettison and add something mid-tier that's going to appeal to Joe Millennial who's driving his Audi and is forced to go to a Walmart.
Right.
And that is super interesting compared to all of the stories that Bart, you and I have done over the last 2.5 years with this podcast about the exciting e-commerce things that Walmart are doing. And now it is January 7th or whatever it is. All of it's gone. All of it's gone, or it's all like totally retrenched. And I wouldn't be surprised if Mark Laurie left Walmart this year.
Yeah, I believe the same thing. It is, it's such a, I think they let it go. They bought all these things. They brought Mark Laurie in, and they thought they're going to go after all this stuff. And, shocker. I mean, one of the stories was like his group is losing $1 billion, where the stores are making $1 billion, and the two sort of departments go, whoa, wait a minute. How are we making this much money? And he's just keep on losing money.
Yeah, great point. And it's not 1999 where it's like, oh yeah, just capture the eyeballs. Those days are over. And a company like Walmart can't just sit around and sustain $1 billion losses year after year out of an experiment. Everyone knows how e-commerce works. And you brought in pretty much one of the top experts in. And if this guy can't make it work, the writing is on the wall. And like I said, I think he's probably going to leave because everything that he's done is kind of not, listen, no dig on him, but everything that he's done is just not working for Walmart as the brand.
No.
So I think you're going to see retooling of the Walmart brand. I think you're going to see the stores completely retooled. And what we're reading in here is that they're basically saying, we've got all of this real estate. It is a real estate play. Let's put some on the roof. Let's use the back room for warehousing. Let's use logistics. They're going to get more into robotics. They're going to use that as their advantage over Amazon, because that's really, at the end of the day, that's their one big thing. They're big in grocery and they have all those stores.
Yep.
People aren't going to stop going to stores. As much as as much as like you look and, what is it this week? 450 Pier 1 stores are going to close. I think a lot of these specialty brands are going to go away. I just hate to see a Walmart take its place.
Right.
Yeah. As interesting as these stories are, it's the alarm bells are sounding about just traditional retail. Not every city goes through this. Like if you look, I always point to like Collingswood, New Jersey as an example, where they have a Main Street and then they have small independent shops. There's actually a shop on Main Street in Collingswood that sells fountain pens. Like you don't see that anymore, but that is such the rare example.
Right.
Every town now, it's like, they build, another example, Florida. You go down Florida, everything is a crap strip mall. and it's miles and miles and miles of it. You could just drive and drive and drive and drive, and it's all it is. It's like the same stores repeated over and over again, and it's pretty sad. But I don't know where I'm going with this, but I just think there's going to be a lot of changes in retail itself, and I think seeing what Walmart is doing is a real indicator of that.
Yeah.
So the other thing, Bart, is what is Amazon's other big thing that they have besides their e-commerce and grocery operations? AWS.
Yeah, all the tech stuff.
Okay, so do you think Walmart will get bigger into that because they see no?
I mean, partially, no, not what AWS is and what that technology stack looks like. Like, people are still fighting for Amazon to get split up because their technology stack is different. Like,
we heard all the predictions that AWS will be its own company within a few years. I mean, I think that writing's on the wall.
Yeah, I mean that's the because it's such a different thing. It's not that they're just like e-commerce platform, right? They're not.
Right. It just happens to be a side business that blew up and makes more money than everything else.
Right.
Kind of like Google with their adadvertising. Go ahead. I didn't mean to.
Sure. Yeah, I mean that's partially right. It's all the cloud stuff. It's all that. So it's not just an e-commerce platform. Whereas Walmart, Walmart Labs is amazing. I mean, one of the best sort of labs type of places. So they're experimenting like crazy. How much you're going to do? Who knows? I mean, Amazon is pushing into stores a different way. I mean, they opened 3 different stores in New York now that are Amazon Go, whatever they are. By the way, we need to go and play with them.
Yeah.
But they're pushing into
the bookstores, and
the bookstores, they've been around, but they're smaller sort of versions of it. So they have this like branding exercise of what they can do with it. So I think Amazon is approaching it like a sort of direct to consumer brand, right? Like it's Bonobos, and I mean, obviously now they own Bonobos, but sort of Untuckit or Warby Parker, all the small brands that are direct to consumer, they're just building small, tiny stores. And I think that's Amazon is taking the page out of that book where they're building smaller stores, smaller footprint. They don't need to be huge about it.
Right, because the brand is already established, and it's basically just a kind of a reminder. So, using your example, you have that little row on, what is it, Chestnut or Walnut Street, where it's like Warby Parker, Untuckit, North Face, and it's all these more like boutique-y type stores. You could see an Amazon store fitting right in there with no problem.
Right. Which they kind of are starting to do with sort of the shipping centers, right? So there's one on 24th and South. That's where you can like return your stuff or pick up your stuff, but it's also their warehouse for Amazon Go deliveries. So
there's a front-facing consumer part, and then the rest of it is just logistics and
for their Go or whatever they're delivering. So that's why you can get deliveries really quickly on certain things.
Right.
So it's there's smaller pieces to it, but why build ginormous things where you can do that? Now, I understand bigger shopping centers in middle of nowhere.
Yes.
I think every time we talk about this, and I keep on saying this, like middle of nowhere, like there's plenty of rural areas that are, not accessible, or they're not building smaller stores. They're building huge ones. Like it's going to be, I think if Amazon decides to put little tiny stores in rural areas or small towns, then Walmart is over.
Yeah.
Wow. That is actually a great point, given that when you say middle of nowhere, where are usually the warehouses? The warehouses, the Amazon, even every e-commerce warehousing, they're in logistic spots near airports, obviously, but there's also, your charger cable obviously doesn't come from Peoria and travels all the way down to New Mexico. There's many, many, many stops in between. And when you're saying, a small town, the people that are employed by the town, by the warehouse, what's the stop on Amazon if they've already got logistics in place? Is Bart's example is opening small stores. I hadn't really thought of that.
Yeah, I'm actually really thinking about a small town, that has 4 or 5 streets, has 2 lights, those kind of towns. And it's on the main street of a little tiny town. They go, hey, let's put a little tiny Amazon store.
Yeah.
And just have a little warehouse, and that's it. And it, all the surrounding towns kind of, the 10, 20 surrounding towns all are serviced by that one place.
Yeah. Great point.
And then the bigger sort of places are just screwed because Walmart will, kind of look at statistically by data, and this is what they do best, of what people are buying, and they'll just stock it.
Yep.
And then they can deliver it to, a neighbor next door. Like once they get to that point, then it's like, forget it. It's over.
Yeah.
A lot of people say that, like in that same breath, that like Walmart Supercenter, like one of their strengths is like being a one-stop shop. But I kind of think that's a double-edged sword. Do you think that being a one-stop shop is like a double-edged sword? I just think that
But tell me the cons. I mean, we obviously understand the pros. What were the cons?
I just think the cons are just like kind of in the same way that like department stores aren't working anymore.
Yeah, but you got to also look at like department stores. Are they not working in big areas like big cities or rural areas, right? There's there's that whole, we got to look at both sides of this.
Yeah, exactly. And that was kind of like getting back to your point of like an Amazon, like I'm picturing like my hometown in like an Amazon store compared to the one single Walmart that's there, but it's like a supercenter. So it's like a total one-stop shop, but at the same time, like the stores are really underkept and messy, and like you can't track all the inventory you have, and like you can't be responsible for all of it. And then the stores are like unshoppable at a point in one-stop shop, I feel like. So I just, like, I don't know if that's like just 100% strength being a one-stop shop.
Yeah, I agree with that. And also you have to look at what, I used my example where it's like, I feel bad because I need, undershirts, avocados, and toilet cleaner. But on a normal shopping excursion, I don't prefer that type of experience. I would prefer to have more of a, something that is more, I don't know, something that's more curated, I guess, or something that's more, I don't know where I'm going with this. I just don't prefer the supercenter style of shopping. Because what that also leads to is overspending. So that's, use the Target. I'm going into Target for one thing.
Oh, I mean, Target's a whole different animal. Target is a different animal. They doctor those things up to look so nice.
And it's just crap, Brittany.
Buy them.
Crap.
Yeah.
All right, we're running a little long on this one, so we'll do a little stat time. Walmart's revenue is more than twice than Amazon's, but the pace of Amazon's profit growth is racing past Walmart's. Last year, Amazon's operating income tripled to $12.42 billion with a B, while Walmart's operating income grew 8% to $22 billion. That's according to the Wall Street Journal. Walmart saw a bright spot in e-commerce that was directly tied to its stores. More than half of the 40% growth in U.S. e-commerce sales last year came from expanding online grocery pickup or delivery service run out of stores. There you go right there. WSJ, credit for that. And around 90% of Americans live within 10 miles of a Walmart, and that's according to the company. And finally, Walmart stock surged nearly 30% in the final weeks of 2019, trading near the highest levels since the retailer went public in 1970. I did not know that. Also, courtesy of the Wall Street Journal. You guys got anything else?
Nope.
Okay, that's your e-commerce minute for today. We'll see you on the internet tomorrow. That's it for today's show. If you like the show, do us a favor and subscribe or leave us a review on iTunes. And don't forget, you can now listen to the e-commerce minute on your Amazon device. Just add e-commerce minute to your flash briefing. And finally, if you have a comment or suggestion or just want to say hi, find us on social media @SumoHeavy.